Sahir would be devastated by Atua's disobedience.
There you are, darling.
The Talent throws boulder.
Vefilu is leading a hunting party out soon. Want to tag along?
Not coming.
Perhaps I will climb the rookery again one day. And know again that magic.
One day I will ascend the rookery again for myself. But not now. Not for a long time.
Before I was a teacher, I was the most skilled hunter of the Aranai. The Saturn II were always great adventurers.
I'm glad I saw the rookery again.
Must have Kitangi take a look. Perhaps I will climb the rookery again one day. And know again that magic.
Watch out! Enemies there! Careful! We have company! Priya? I'm at one of those aerial things.
Okay, there should be somewhere to scan, like a control panel. That should reveal the power source. Hang on a second. I'm picking up RDA near you. They must be checking the balloons.
Priya, you there? I sent some data through.
Receiving. Okay, hang on.
That worked! The balloon is down!
Nice! Hey, Taylor, come check out this data. Oh, is that... Oh, it's radar mapping. Well, that's pretty cool. See here how the signal is repeated? Well, because the rainforest is so dense, right? Hey, that signal is strong. It looks strong enough to go underground. Do you think? Exactly! Yeah! It can probably pick up anything. Mineral deposit? Oil? Hey, you know, I bet they use it to check where to drill.
Delan, can you...
It's like a whole network of signals pinging off each other.
Delan! Just let me know if that signal gets any weaker, okay?
Oh, okay. I'll let you know. There's so many of these things, even beyond the rainforest. We should take down as many as we can.
Delan, anything?
Signal is still going strong. It's not really a problem though, right? I mean, it's not doing anything bad.
It's more disruptive than it looks. I need to stop it.
Oh, okay. It's pretty cool though, the way it works. But I get it.
Got another one.
It's no good. Those devices, they're just pinging the signal around. You need to get to the source. Looks like it's transmitting from somewhere nearby.
The RDA site at the stone pillars. Etua is there now.
Do you think... Are you going to fight the humans there?
They won't make it easy, Delan. You like that, don't you, Telesi?
see them down there.
And up there.
Not for long. This will be their last flight. Today, we finish what they started. Let their ashes shroud the sky! I will throw their fire!
Daylan, I'm heading into the outpost now.
Is that... Are you sure that's a good idea?
I can sneak in. Etua's distracting the scorpions overhead.
Using your SID will help keep things quiet. I'm checking if the Resistance database has the schematics. Maybe I can help from this side.
Hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure out a strategy here because I'm not gonna be trying to do 20,000 times. Okay. So I kind of figure out what am I going to do, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it exactly how I did. I'm going to do it exactly how I did it, and we are carefully going to try to take down that amp machine or suit, because I did try to get it, but I ended up shooting the wrong thing. The amp suit that he has is a missile one. So, technically, if I'm gonna hit him, I have to hit him below the missile. And that is going to be a little tricky for me. So, I'm gonna try my very best to do this. Just bear with me on, family stuff, Still trying to make sure that if I go through my attempt, I want to be, a good attempt, not a crazy attempt where I'm not going to be able to do this. So, let's try. Alright. Now that my tablet should be full. Okay, let's do this. So we gotta try to get these suits. I think there were these two suits out here. This could be a best approach to go through this side and kill these groups. But I don't think I will be able to do it, so I'm marking them all. So I know okay, this one is easy to kill. Okay, so faintly, but there. And there's somebody right there. So I gotta watch out for these guys, okay? So as long as I'm if I go into war without having food and energy. I gotta turn off that spirit. want to make sure I get rid of all these soldiers. This guy, I'm not really worried about him. But I am afraid that if I shoot him, I'll miss. Okay, so it's just this one episode. Where's the other episode?
Okay, I've shut it down.
The signal is still really strong. You need to find transmitter. It's a pipe bomb. Overloading. That's a high signal.
Can't be only one with gun, bitch.
Lost the scent. Etua? Etua, wake up. Open your eyes, come on. Look. We did it. You see them? The flowers are opening. King Lord can feed again. Please, I don't know what to do.
There is no honor in fleeing this fight.
Sky people desecrate the land.
Katna is right. Do not invite chaos.
Sometimes I like to sit among the king. Katna must learn this. It makes me feel proud. You know, just watching them.
Etua is young. She is naive. She grieves her mother.
Etua's been hurt.
Prepare the hunters. Get ready for us to fly.
You did this. You made her go.
Father, stop.
They are feeding on their own. What happened to them?
It was the sky people and their floating machines. Their strange pulsing, forcing the flowers close, driving the king from their nests. Only the star to believe me. They saw how it worked. They destroyed it alone. I tried to tell you. I wanted you to come with me. In the end, it was the star who saved our home.
Enough. Etua is right. War is upon us, and Awa cries out in pain. It is a call we will no longer ignore. Etua and I will stand beside you and lead our people together. No longer will our blood stain their hands. We will purge these lands and skies of their blight. For our children and their children. Pandora will be free!
What did I tell you? I had faith in you from the start. All grown up. Are you ready to look the part? Warrior of the people. Let this be a call to all clans that the Arana will not shy away from the fight.
Hey, the air quality just keeps on improving. Our data shows there's new, healthier growth happening all around the western frontier. Slowly but steadily, the life comes back everywhere.
I thought it was some kind of guy.
Hey, the data you got from the radar network, they were probing everything in the Kinglong forest. And that goes all the way into the deep crust. You can even see a few caves. It's beautiful.
Does it say what they were looking for?
No, look, we only got raw survey data. Could be minerals underground. By the way, when are you coming home? Alma wanted to talk to you about our new Navi friends.
I'll pass by soon to see you all.
Katna knows a war is madness. Told me I'd never amount to anything. You're back. What's faster, an Ikran or my Samson?
Alma? We never saw you like this.
I don't leave the link bed much these days. I've grown so used to being one of you.
You look different, but the same.
I'm the same, but you are changing, growing. Every time we meet, you look more Nafi. We heard from the Aranahe. I never thought they would change their minds. And now, we are stronger than we ever were. That came from outside.
What will the Aranahe think of us? Is this how you greet the Sarentu after all this time?
I had to see from you. Not even I'll flinch this one. Fearless like a Zeswa. Or perhaps just slow.
That depends on if I was the target.
My name is C. Oloitan of the Zeswa. And nobody on Pandora can best our peace.
Then you have not seen us fight.
I heard you got those pompous weavers out of their tree. But the Sky People ravage our lands too.
We know them.
All too well. I should get on.
Speak your own mind, Brinella.
We
Have the same enemy.
We must fight together.
So our envoy will come to you, just as our people once did.
My
My sister Mina hunts beneath the celebration arches. Warrior. Fly the signal kite like our riders do, and she will answer your call.
Make sure you prepare before you go meet the Zeswatzahi. It is a long journey to the upper plains.
Good girl, aren't you, Tennessee? There you go, Tennessee. Nassim seems like a fighter. How come she hasn't joined us before?
We have to prove our work together as warriors. This Sessual can ride fast, but they do not like to wait for others. The wind in their grassland is so sharp it can slice through mountains. It is a fierce land, so the Sessual must be even fiercer.
It will be different, but we are ready for the challenge.
You must go without your Ikrak. She will not follow you to the grasslands.
Why not?
It is unknown sky to her, too far from her home. You must trust the bond, new as it may be. She will join you once you have learned more of the land and its challenges.
How will I travel then?
You will learn, and when you are ready, the Sessual ancestors can show you the way. But for now, fly to the waterfall cliffs. There is a cave system that runs all the way up to the plains.
That must be the cliff. There should be a cave. I have to go on my own now, but I'll see you soon. The entrance to the cave. Raise the signet kite. Nassim sent me to speak with the Saig of the Zeswa.
Then we have found each other. You have been missed.
Mina! Decided to tread the grass again. Let us ride the wind and celebrate by the fire. We will hear your tales like we used to.
Sister, you must give the warrior time to adjust. Breathe our air, feel our earth beneath their feet. Meet the Zakru.
Who is the Zakru?
Our wards and our guardians.
Our home and heart. The home of our people wanders, warrior. It is never in the same place. But we leave kites in its wake, flying high.
So you always know how to get home.
You already think like a Zeswa.
Now we will teach you to ride like one.
First you must find a dire horse. Any will do. Our bond with them is short-lived.
Move slowly, be calm, then make the bond endure.
It's okay. I won't hurt you. Hey, you're going to be okay.
Dire horses are wary of strangers. Show them they can trust you. Try again.
Hey there. It's okay.
Easy. No! Try again. Patience.
Hey, you're going to be okay. Don't worry. You're okay.
Try again. Patience.
You're okay. Don't worry. Whoa! Easy there. Hey, you're going to be okay. No, don't.
Try again. Patience.
Hey there. It's okay. You're okay, aren't you? Easy does it. Wait!
Try again. Patience.
Hey there. It's okay.
Get on and ride like a Zeswa. Follow the kites. Soon we will celebrate by the fire.
Daylan, the Zeswat side taught me to ride a dire horse.
No way! Did you meet them already?
It's a little different. Bonding with them is only temporary.
Oh, well, it's still pretty cool. How does it feel to ride one?
Strong, powerful, but they don't turn like any gun does.
Guess they don't fly as well either.
No, but they make crossing these plains a lot faster. It's all so vast and open here. So different.
They say I'm always too loud. Maybe. But what is the...
Say your worst fears were realized. What is the worst thing that could happen?
Then we're also hearing about Richard's story. Richard is in jail. Prosecutors are deciding to try Richard as an adult, which means a much heavier sentence. So there's reaction on both sides of that decision to try him as an adult from his parents, people at school, teachers, people that know him that are disappointed and shocked. And then there are also those that feel that the injuries that Sasha sustained, maybe this is a fitting decision. The first letter, November 8th, 2013. Dear victim, I apologize for my actions, for the pain that I brought to you and your family. I was wrong for what I did. I was wrong. I had no reason to do that to you. I don't know what was going through my head at that time. I'm not a monster. I have a big heart. I never even thought of hurting anyone like the way I hurt you. I just wanted you to know that I'm deeply sorry for my actions. I think about what happened every second. I pray that you heal correctly and that you recover and live a happy life. Please forgive me. That's all I want. I take responsibility for all my actions. I'll take all the consequences. I wish you and your family the best of luck. I'm not just saying this because I'm incarcerated. I honestly mean every word. Love, Richard. Into the briefcase. Within days of his arrest, Richard's family scraped the money together to hire a private attorney to handle his defense. They chose Bill Dubois, a portly 40-year-old veteran of the Alameda County Courthouse, who had represented a number of high-profile defendants, including one of the men who murdered the transgender teenager Gwen Araujo in 2002. At their first meeting, Richard gave Dubois 2 letters he'd handwritten to Sasha. The one he wrote on November 8th, and a second he wrote on November 11th. Dubois took the letters and tucked them away in his briefcase. Because the letters contained an admission of guilt, he felt he couldn't send them until the case was resolved. It would be 14 months before Sasha read them. Skirts for Sasha. On Friday, November 8th, everyone at Maybach wore a skirt. Teachers, students, staff, even Healy, who didn't own any skirts. She used a pinafore that she'd worn as a costume in a play. Ian dressed as much like Sasha as he could manage, in a skirt, knee socks, black top, and vest. He wore a tartan skirt over jeans. Michael wore a black miniskirt along with his signature khaki jacket and gray beanie. A photo of Maybach students holding a sign saying "Skirts for Sasha" was taken by a photographer for the San Jose Mercury News and reposted to dozens of LGBTQ and anti-bullying blogs. A week later, under the light of a 3/4 moon, roughly 150 supporters, including students from both Maybach and Oakland high schools, marched along the route of the 57 bus. The march started at the street corner where Richard and Lloyd had gotten on the bus the week before. Television cameras jockeyed for positions, nearly knocking each other over in their eagerness to get the best shot. The kids from Maybach peered curiously at Oakland High School. Most of them had never seen it before. For a minute, there was a lot of anger toward Oakland High School at Maybach, Michael recalls, but they were really good at distancing themselves from the guy who lit Sasha on fire. Drones beat in the background, keeping time with the thwop, thwop, thwop of the news helicopters overhead as the marchers tied rainbow ribbons to the bus stop. poles between Ojai and the spot where Sasha usually got off. People carried balloons and glow sticks and signs that said, "Accept everyone," and "We're all Sasha." "Get well," the sign said. "We hecka love you, Sasha." The second letter. November 11th, 2013. Dear Mr. It's me again, Richard. I just wanted to say that I'm still very sorry, and I hope you're getting better. I had a nightmare last night, and I woke up sweating and apologizing. I really hope you get back to the way you were. I went to court yesterday, and they're still making me seem like a monster, but I'm not. I'm a good kid. If you get to know me, I'm sure you would have been a nice person too. I regret what I did. I didn't know that your clothing would catch like it did, even though I had no reason to do it anyways. I don't know what was going through my head. I've committed a stupid act of violence, and I'm going to be punished for that. And I accept all consequences that I received because you didn't deserve this. I didn't even know you, and I still don't. I was hoping that I can meet you face to face so I can apologize to you. I am being charged with great bodily injury and a hate crime. I accept the first charge, but the hate crime is wrong. I don't have a problem with homosexuals. I have friends that's homosexuals, and we never had problems, so I don't look at you wrong because of your sexuality. Honestly, I could care less if you like men. You wasn't trying to talk to me in that way. I just hope that you forgive me for the pain I brought you and your family.
Those are just stories. How it was in the times when such things were needed.
Those times may return soon.
If they do, we will be ready. She and I both.
If you have ADHD or you just can't focus on schoolwork, this app is perfect for you. It's called Goth. Take a picture of your homework, and it gives you the correct answer and detailed instruction. You can ask it math, chemistry, history, etc. And it even has book summaries all in one app. I cannot recommend it more.
I am not a thug, gangster, hoodlum, nor monster. I'm a young African-American male who's made a terrible...
Oh my god. This is going to help me.
Mistake. Not only did I hurt you, but I hurt your family and friends, and also my family and friends, for I have brought shame to them and our country, and I shall be punished, which is going to be hard for me because I am not made to be incarcerated. In the Bible, Jeremiah 1:5, it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations." Consecrated means to dedicate somebody or something to a particular purpose.
She does as the grown-ups do.
I'm not saying I'm a prophet. What I'm saying is God knows us before we were anything, and He made a plan for us all, and we know it's not evil because God isn't evil. So we wasn't made to do bad things. I really don't know why I did what I did, but I hope you don't think I'm evil. I'm actually good.
You're travelers.
I've also been hurt a lot for no reason. Not like I hurt you, but I've been hurt physically and mentally, so I know how it feels. The pain and confusion of why me. I felt it before plenty of times, so I know how it feels. So get better, and I'm looking forward to meeting you so I can apologize. I'm going to write you at least 2 letters a week, so be expecting them.
Dance fight.
I'll keep you in my prayers. Get well. Signed, Richard.
And now,
let's take care of each other.
We'll celebrate again.
Richard didn't end up writing more letters, but on November 11th, Carl wrote a letter of his own. It was sent to the parents and staff at Sequoia Elementary School, where he taught kindergarten. I think it's really important to keep in mind that none of us can know the mind, motivations, or intentions of the person who set flame to Sasha's clothing, he wrote. Oakland police have a 16-year-old high school student in custody based on video camera footage from the bus. As far as I know, police are the only people who have viewed the footage. I certainly haven't, so I can only guess at what happened. At this point, I choose to assume that this kid was playing with fire and that he gravely underestimated the consequences of that. Others may make different assumptions. It's important to remember that they are all just that, assumptions. So when I talk to my students about this, I will emphasize the importance of fire safety. Don't play with matches or lighters. And of course, stop, drop, and roll if your clothing catches fire. He also offered language for explaining Sasha's gender identity. Being agender simply means that the person doesn't feel they are either a boy or a girl. I really realize this is a concept that even adults have difficulty wrapping their heads around. My wife and I frequently slip up in our pronoun usage, much to Sasha's chagrin. So I can't imagine that it's an issue. I can't pretend that it's an issue that all young children will grasp. But what they certainly can and should understand is that different people like different things. Different people dress or behave or look differently, and that's a good thing. Sasha feels comfortable wearing a skirt. It's part of their style. They also frequently sport a necktie and vest. Sasha likes the look, and frankly, so do I. It makes me smile to see Sasha being Sasha. As I wrote above, none of us can know the mind of the kid who lit a flame to Sasha's skirt. But I have a feeling that if he had seen Sasha's skirt as an expression of another kid's unique, beautiful self, and had smiled and thought, I hella love Oakland, I wouldn't be writing this now. Again, many thanks for all of your love and kindness. Let's all take care of each other. Carl. Homophobic. Richard's extended family showed up for his second court appearance on November 15th, including Jasmine's cousin Regis, who is gay. Tall, attractive, and androgynous, Regis didn't talk to the press, but his presence was a statement in itself. I'm here, I'm queer, and I support my cousin. Inside the courtroom, reporters discussed the best terms to use when describing Sasha. Gender fluid, gender queer, gender non-conforming, agender. Just say he was wearing a skirt, one reporter offered. He gave a weary shrug. The terms change all the time. Nothing much happened in court other than Dubois announcing his plans to file a motion contesting the decision to try Richard as an adult. Afterward, he took questions from reporters. I've met the minor, and I can tell you he's not homophobic. Not even remotely, he said. First of all, he doesn't know how to spell homophobic, much less be it. Everyone had their own theory as to why Richard had used the term. Dubois said when he asked Richard for a definition, Richard said that it meant he wasn't gay, that he liked girls. Jasmine said that she thought he was trying to get out of trouble by saying what he thought the police wanted him to say. But whatever his reason for saying it, it was part of the story now. Newscasters mentioned it almost every time they reported a new development. This is not a whodunit, Dubois said. This is not even a what happened. This is what frame of mind the kid had. The attorney tended to talk about the case with a mixture of calm and exasperation, as if his powers of incredulity had already been strained to the point of breaking. He argued that the views Richard expressed in the police interview were nothing more sinister than a kid being weirded out by the sight of a boy in a skirt. They're putting him in the category of skinhead because he admitted to being homophobic, to being very homophobic, and they're saying, we take that as true. He rubbed out his eyes and dropped his jaw to indicate how absurd this was. Lynchings, they're hate crimes, he said. But the kid who thinks that wearing a skirt is anomalous and decides to play a prank is not committing a hate crime. What they sent. On Sasha's first full day in the hospital, a stranger dropped off a bouquet of silk flowers, 3 white roses, and 4 stalks of orange Chinese lanterns. Former burn victim herself, she knew that real flowers aren't allowed in the burn ward because of the risk of infection. That was the beginning. Within days, letters and packages began arriving at the hospital at Maybeck High School, at Debbie and Carl's house. An online medical fund set up by Sasha's cousin raised more than $31,000 in donations. What did I get today? Sasha asked each afternoon when Debbie and Carl arrived at the hospital with the day's mail. The answer was sometimes surprising. Strangers sent money in small bills, paper cranes, a soft blanket, Star Wars stickers, a drawing of a TARDIS from Doctor Who, a 4-page play written in Spanish, a book of poems by E.E. Cummings. A friend from the live-action role-playing community sewed Sasha a skirt and matching vest. The East Bay Heritage Quilters sent a vibrant purple quilt. People from the Con Lang community sent letters in their invented languages using beautiful calligraphy. People from Canada sent things with maple leaves on them. High school gay-straight alliances from all over the country sent cards decorated with rainbows. The missives piled up. Handmade cards, store-bought cards, folded sheets of notebook paper, emails. They came from Colombia, Germany, France, Australia. Get well, they said. Be strong. Be proud. You are beautiful the way you are. Sasha couldn't concentrate on any of it for long, but they liked knowing that so many people cared. Cards from Sasha's friends stayed in the hospital room. So did the bouquet of silk flowers. Everything else, Debbie and Carl took home. Over the next few weeks, Debbie would periodically type Sasha's name into Google to see how the story was being covered around the world. Once, the search led her to a neo-Nazi site. They were having a really hard time, she said. An African-American? Oh, evil. But then it's this trans kid wearing a skirt. What? They couldn't figure out who to root against, Carl explained. He grinned. It was a really hard time for the neo-Nazi community. No hate. Nobody who knew him could believe it. Richard was a goofball, sure, but hateful? It just didn't make sense. It blew me back, Carlita Collins, the school security officer said. It blew my weave back to the fat part. Word was that Richard had set the skirt alight at the urging of another kid, got played, fell for the okey doke. I just couldn't understand why he would make such a childish mistake, Collins said. But then I thought about it, like, oh, he's 16. But that wasn't how the rest of the school saw it. Richard had only been there 2 months, and he didn't know too many people. For most students, all that mattered was that Ojai was in the news again, and not for any of the good things that happened there. It was like nobody ever paid attention until somebody screwed up. He was black, and he did that. Most of us that go here are black. We're expected to do something wrong, explains Amerique, who played on the football and baseball teams. People act like if you go to Ojai, that's the baddest school in Oakland. Since that happened, people just thought that all of us are basically the same. It was important to say no, to say that's not us. What our student allegedly did to Sasha is hideous and is not representative of the values we know to be true of the Oakland High community, Principal Mateen Abdil Kawi said in a letter he read over the school loudspeaker. We are all capable of doing what is right, even and especially when it seems impossible. We all have responsibility to stop acts of violence. The student body at Oakland High is extremely diverse. Our families come from all over the world. Wouldn't it be amazing if we led by example and showed Oakland what it means to respect and appreciate each other's differences? A movement sprouted on campus. No hate. Students and staff painted banners that said, Sasha, we stand with you. A student-led fundraiser collected more than $800 for Sasha's medical bills. Students folded a long chain of paper cranes and sent it to Sasha. In December, Ojai's Wildcats basketball team played its first home game wearing blue jerseys with Sasha's name on the back and the words "No Hate" on the front. The gymnasium was festooned with handmade posters in the blue and white Wildcats colors that said "Not in our school" and "Stand up to hate." Select a store and pick all the groceries I need for the week. Having such a busy schedule, I can get almost anything on Uber Eats, including grocery and everyday essentials, which saves me so much time. The next time you're in a pinch, be sure to order your groceries on Uber Eats.
It's really extraordinary being surrounded by such scale.
We'll do the first season justice, Harry. It's good to be back in the saddle.
There's armies being raised and alliances being formed.
The dance of the dragons is fully kicked off. We shall see who the last man standing is. I will never concede. Come to my door and see what happens.
A number of the boys on the basketball team knew Richard, and they had come to practice after his arrest talking about what happened. Richard wasn't a bad kid, they said, just a follower. It seemed wrong that he might be locked up for life. But then one of the players pointed out that they should be thinking about the victim, too. What happened to Sasha was terrible. That shouldn't happen to anybody, he said. What if that had happened to somebody in your family? That was when the team decided to order jerseys that stood up for Sasha. We're against hate and bullying, basketball coach Orlando Watkins said when the team gathered in the locker room before the game wearing their no-hate jerseys. This is a big game for us today, not just because we need the victory, but it represents something bigger than just basketball. So let's go out there today, let's play hard, let's stay focused, and let's take care of business. The team listened somberly, then gathered in a circle. No hate on me, no hate on three, team captain Keith called. 1, 2, 3, no hate. Y'all don't know. Caprice found it hard to go to school. In her time in the Oakland schools, she'd seen plenty of kids drop out or get kicked out, get shot or get pregnant. But Richard was supposed to be different. I can't even hardly express the feelings I have because I knew where he was trying to go, she says. I knew he would be the one graduating from here. The no-hate banners were everywhere, but no one was talking about Richard. Del Kawi, the school principal, had concluded the letter he read over the loudspeaker by reminding students to show our student currently in custody compassion and tolerance. But Richard's friends felt that this last bit had gotten plastered over by the reams of no-hate posters. One by one, they showed up in Caprice's office to complain. They said it was a hate crime, but he had family that wasn't straight, Richard's friend Liddell said. We were with no hate, but in Richard's case, it wasn't hate. What he did was wrong, as like a joke, playful. It was like a funny little prank joke turns to something that ends your whole life. To Liddell, it just seemed like the outside world didn't grasp how easy it was for kids who grew up in poor neighborhoods to take that wrong turn. People have different habitats, he explained. Some people have it better than others. They grew up in good neighborhoods. Their family has jobs. They have good income. They don't understand. Their life is so good, they think everybody's life is good. They don't understand the struggles people go through. I don't know where you grew up at, if it's like a low-income area where there's lots of violence and crime. But if you grew up in a low-income area and all you see is crime and drugs, if you have family that does crime, you see it. It has an impact on you. If you're around it a lot, it's hard to do good. It just hurt, Cherie said. Somebody you know are that close to and it becomes all like viral? She shook her head. People would say all types of stuff, like he was just intentionally trying to burn him, like, oh yeah, he's gay, he's hecka gay, let's burn him. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm just saying at the end of the day, he was 16. You're all just trying to put an opinion on something that you don't know. Y'all don't know. The circle. Each day that the no-hate organizing at Oakland High School went on, Richard's friends grew increasingly upset. Finally, Caprice went to Principal Abdalkawi to ask if she could hold a restorative justice circle so that Richard's friends could share their feelings. She invited Amy Wilder, an Oakland High School resource specialist who was the faculty advisor for the school's Gay-Straight Alliance. Wilder, who majored in gender studies in college, had been working with students to show support for Sasha. About a dozen students gathered in a circle in an empty classroom a few days later. Most of them didn't really know each other. Richard was the one thing they had in common. The facilitator passed around a green race car that served as a talking piece. When the race car reached you, it was your turn to speak. Otherwise, you listened. The first few times the race car went around the circle, the questions were playful. If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be? Questions that let them get to know one another a bit. Then they talked about Richard, how silly he was, and how kind, and how he'd had a friend and a family member who were gay. One of them passed around a photo of Richard on a cell phone. When the phone reached Wilder, she gave a start of recognition. It was Richard's eyes, she remembered, his hazel eyes. Early in the year, a parent had come in to meet with her and had brought along a younger sibling. The kid was wild, out of control. No way were they going to be able to have a conversation with this kid bouncing off the walls. But then Richard had come out of Caprice's office. He went over to the kid and somehow calmed him down, got him focused so the meeting could take place. Now, as she stared at Richard's picture, Wilder's eyes filled with tears. Because he was so sweet, she explained, and he's such a young person facing such serious consequences. When she shared that, it was huge, Caprice said afterward. It was incredible. We could hardly take it. All they had wanted was someone else to understand. Skinned. 5 days after the second surgery, Sasha returned to the operating room where Dr. Grossman's team used a tool called a dermatome to harvest 3-inch wide strips of skin from Sasha's back. After removing each strip, Dr. Grossman passed it through a meshing device that perforated it with tiny holes so that it could be stretched to cover a larger area. Then he placed it over Sasha's wounds and stapled it into place. Peel, mesh, place, staple. Peel, mesh, place, staple. When it was over, the burn sites were covered with new skin. But Sasha's back was raw, exposed. The pain was intense, more intense than the burns had been. It was as if they had been burned or skinned alive. God is good. The ladies seemed to materialize out of nowhere. There were 3 of them at the third court hearing on November 26. Older white women who dressed as chastely as nuns in turtlenecks and blazers and sensible shoes. They came, they said, because they were concerned about Richard. Not that it's not a horrible crime, one explained, but it's also a crime to try a child as an adult. Inside the courtroom, defendants appeared in a small box to the left of the judge. It was possible to see them only if you sat on the far right side of the gallery and pressed your cheek against the wall. By the third hearing, the reporters had figured this out, and they all swished into the same column of seats, leaning into one another to get a glimpse of Richard's face. Jasmine wore glossy pink lipstick, black leggings, and a t-shirt that said Los Angeles. Her face was bright, eager, confident. She knew it would all turn out okay. God is good, she repeated to herself in the elevator. God is good. God is so good. You look nice, her cousin Regis said as the family gathered in the hallway waiting for Dubois to be done talking to reporters. I like your hair. His own hair was gorgeous, streaked red and gold with hair extensions he'd made himself. He was dressed stylishly in a gold jacket, tight jeans, a scarf, and lace-up boots. They were an attractive trio, he and Jasmine's sister Juliet. As they waited for Richard's lawyer to give them an update, they talked about what they were cooking for Thanksgiving, just 2 days away. Macaroni and cheese, yams, that spinach dip they loved. Conversation turned to a case that was in the news. Donald Williams Jr., an African-American freshman at San Jose State University, had been relentlessly bullied by the white students he lived with in a 4-bedroom dormitory suite. The white kids, also freshmen, had insisted on calling Williams 3/5, a reference to the clause in the original U.S. Constitution that counted slaves as 3/5 of a person when determining population for representation in Congress. They clamped a bike lock around his neck and claimed to have lost the key. They draped a Confederate flag over a cardboard cutout of Elvis Presley in the suite's living room. They locked him in his room, and they claimed it was all just a series of good-natured pranks. In the end, 3 18-year-old white students were expelled for what they did to Williams, and a 17-year-old was suspended. The 3 who were expelled were also charged in criminal court. The charge, misdemeanor battery with a hate crime enhancement, which carried a maximum penalty of 1.5 years in county jail. A jury eventually convicted all 3 of battery, but acquitted one of the students of the hate crime charge and deadlocked on the others. Girl, they got misdemeanors, Regis said. Nobody got charged with any felonies. 3 white boys on 1 black boy. Does it have to be me? Sasha was released from the hospital the next day, 23 days after the fire. Reporters lined the street in front of Sasha's house, pushing up against the front door. News helicopters circled. Sasha gave an interview to the local news wearing a skirt over bandaged legs. I was really excited that an agender person was in the news, they said later, but I wasn't that excited about the circumstances, obviously. Those were my feelings. This is really great, but does it have to be me? Sasha also suspected that not everyone understood what the story was all about. I got the idea that it wasn't really about me being agender, they said. A lot of the news coverage was a boy was wearing a skirt rather than an agender person was wearing a skirt. And that kind of bugged me, that I was being misrepresented in that way. Back at Maybach. Sasha returned to school in December on the Monday after the Thanksgiving break. They were eager to be back after the long, boring days in the hospital, and they dressed a little smarter than usual, matching the flat cap and skirt with the vest, bow tie, and crisp white shirt. The press was there, of course, craning to get a view of Sasha, like paparazzi angling for a shot of the royal family. Sasha's friends made a point of not making a big deal about Sasha's return, and they asked their classmates to do the same. They knew Sasha hated being the center of attention, so after greeting them with hugs, they tried to be chill. As chill as you can be with a line of news trucks idling in front of your school, antennas stabbing the sky. There were so many cameras at the school, and they were like, "Are you Sasha's friend? Can we talk to you?" Taya remembers. And that was a little weird because I didn't know how to approach my friendship with Sasha. I don't think Sasha wanted to be around their friends with their friends thinking, I'm talking to a famous person, or I'm talking to somebody that something horrible happened to. They just wanted things to be normal. It really distanced me from the friendship, which is a shame. After school, Sasha went to ballroom dance club. Taya was crazy about ballroom dancing, so she'd started the club, and Sasha, Nemo, and Michael had joined. Sasha and Nemo were they were useful additions because they could dance either the male or the female part, depending on what was needed. That first day back, Sasha waltzed with Michael as their partner. Michael noticed that his friend was quieter than they'd been before, a little more inward, but overall, Sasha seemed okay. Worst days ever. There were a lot more of them now. Worst days, worst nights. The days their legs itched from the graft, from their leg hairs getting caught in the bandages, a prickly irritation that never stopped. The days their legs ached when everything that used to be normal was suddenly difficult. Showering, seated now, using a handheld shower. Getting dressed, both legs had to be wrapped in 3 layers of bandages. Going to school, they were so tired, just so very tired. The nights after getting home from the hospital when they felt like they had to pee all the time but couldn't, side effect of having had a urinary catheter in for all those weeks in the hospital. The nights when sleep felt like a distant cousin they'd met long ago but didn't know well enough to talk to. The nights they took Percocet for the pain and it made them hyper instead of sleepy. They tried not to think about the fire or the person who said it, but sometimes it was hard not to wonder why, not to just feel incredulous that this was the situation. One minute you're on your way home from school, and then it's an ambulance and a hospital and surgery and pain and painkillers and bandages and seated showers. It was just like, how is this a thing that happens? Reunion. Dan Gale sat in a wicker chair in Sasha's living room beside his cousin Russell, taking deep, nervous breaths and exhaling through his teeth. It was a Saturday in early December, and Dan had been invited to join Sasha's family for brunch. Russell came along for support. The past few weeks had been a whirlwind for Dan. A month ago, he'd been an ordinary guy, a construction worker who did some extra work on the side at a friend's t-shirt shop. Then he'd taken the bus home from work one day and helped save the life of a teenager whose skirt was on fire. Suddenly, he was a hero, a good Samaritan. He'd been honored at City Hall, featured on the news. Police Chief Sean Wentz had said that Dan's actions on the bus had proved that despite Oakland's reputation for crime, there are good people all over the city. Even his own family looked at him with a newfound respect. Now Dan was about to see Sasha for the first time since that day on the bus, but it was taking Sasha a while to come out of their bedroom. They have to put their stockings on over the scars, Debbie explained. There are a few spots that still have to be bandaged, but they're healing pretty well. That's great, Dan said, his expression grave. He was in his early 50s and had basset hound, brown eyes, a thick salt and pepper mustache, and a deep, gravelly voice. He crossed and uncrossed his neat legs, resting one of his white tennis shoes on one knee. Beside him, Russell, who owned the construction company where Dan worked, blinked sleepily, a 3-day beard peppering his cheeks. The two of them surveyed the living room, which was cozy and cluttered, its surfaces covered with houseplants, magazines, dried flowers, and framed photographs, its shelves overflowing with hardback books and board games, its limited floor space crammed with musical instruments, a piano, 2 guitars, a bongo drum. A paper banner inscribed with get well messages wrapped nearly all the way around the room, a souvenir from the march along the 57 bus route the previous month. At last Sasha came in, wearing a gray hoodie and a black skirt, legs swaddled in white bandages. Dan sucked in a breath. Oh, wow, he whispered. He stood and enveloped Sasha in a hug. How are you doing, man? I'm doing good, Sasha blinked a few times, grinning shyly. You look great. Yeah, I'm not feeling too bad. That's great. Don't change who you are, dude. Don't change. Dan shook his head. This is weird. Awkward. His eyes brimmed with tears. I'm sorry, dude. I'm really sorry, he croaked, a voice breaking. Thanks for all you did, Carl said, coming into the room behind Sasha. Man, I'm sorry I couldn't have done more. Dan turned to Sasha. It was hard to get to you. You did all you could, Sasha said. You did the best. But Dan had already moved on to the future. He wanted to accompany Sasha on their return to the bus. I want to be there, he insisted. I mean, you're my friend now, forever. Because of you, because of this whole situation, I feel real better about myself. I have a better relationship with my daughters and stuff. I'm sorry for what happened to you, but man, I benefited big time out of it. He laughed. And to his evident relief, everyone joined in. The conversation moved in fits and spurts, lapsing into awkward pauses and then reigniting again. Sasha told Dan about using the fire to full advantage. I can't do the dishes, my legs got injured. I can't help with dinner, my legs. I can't do my homework, legs. Dan talked about how he'd seen Sasha on the bus for years, always with a book in hand. The kid's smarter than anybody on the bus combined. than everybody on the bus combined, he announced. Then he turned back to Sasha. That's because of your parents, you know. Remember this. All your life, you're going to want your parents off your back. Then you realize when you get older, they're the ones that had your back. You had my back, Sasha said. Dan shut his eyes for a moment. You know, I turned around and I saw the fire, he said, and my first reaction was, oh, I can do this. I got this. 20 years earlier, he explained he'd been with a friend who was driving a car at a demolition derby. The friend had been working on the car when he mistook a container of gasoline for a container of water and tried to use it to douse a spark. When Dan saw his friend go up in flames, he tackled him and put him out. Who'd ever imagine it was a skill he'd need to use a second time? Over breakfast, a tofu scramble for Sasha, eggs and pastries for everyone else, the conversation turned to the kid who'd set Sasha on fire. Debbie and Carl had told reporters that they wanted to see Richard tried as a juvenile, not as an adult. I think you guys are a lot more